Hi again, this is Christine, the neuropsychologist in the Long COVID Psychology Service. Today, I'm going to give you an introduction on the session's main topic, attention. The aim of this video is to explain what we mean by attention as a cognitive function and give an overview of why attention is important. So let's start with what is attention. We define attention as the ability to focus on specific information that is important or interesting in the moment. This can be information that you hear and see, or you can turn your attention inwards to your own thoughts and feelings. Attention is also involved in filtering out information that you don't need, such as distractions. Attention is involved in lots of tasks that help us make sense of the world around us. This can be things like focus and concentration, such as when we're trying to read a book. It could be paying attention to something while ignoring distractions around us, such as listening to a conversation in a busy room whilst filtering out the other noise. Attention can be when we pay attention to two different things at the same time. So when we're listening to verbal information, but also making notes around it, like writing down a phone number. There's holding information in mind to help us complete a task. So this could be trying to remember a phone number that you need to dial. And it's all the while remaining aware of what's going on around us in the background. Attention is an important building block for our other thinking skills, such as memory and executive functions, that we're going to move on to talk about in later sessions. The attention system is spread throughout the brain and involves multiple networks and different areas. So let's move on now to understanding attention. I find analogies really helpful when trying to understand something. So a helpful way to understand attention might be to think about it like a highlighter pen or a spotlight. Imagine that you're reading an article in a magazine or a newspaper, and the section that you're reading is highlighted in yellow. This would naturally draw your attention to that particular section more so than the other sections. Another example might be thinking back to when you were studying. You might have used a highlighter for sections or pieces of information that you found particularly interesting or particularly relevant to what you were studying. When you return to reread the information, those certain parts would stand out or grab your attention as they'd been highlighted beforehand. So let's move on now to think about why attention is important for us. We know that attention plays an essential role in our daily lives. It's important for learning, achieving goals, and performing our everyday tasks. Attention allows us to ignore distractions so that we can focus on a task and complete it. It also prevents our brain from becoming overloaded by too much information that we take in. In our daily lives, there's lots of information that we are unaware of. It might be noise in the background. It might be the feeling of our clothes on our body that we're not generally aware of until that we bring our attention to it consciously. Our brain filters out all that information so that we don't become overloaded by things that are not relevant to us in that moment. As we've previously discussed, attention is an important building block for the other cognitive functions that we discussed last week. So these are things like memory, planning and problem solving, but it also includes things like our emotions, our social skills, and our visual awareness as well. All of these skills are dependent on different aspects of attention. And being able to focus our attention on these most important aspects in the particular moment help us to create memories about the event, which we'll come on to talk about in a later session. So that's a very quick summary of attention. The next slides that your facilitators will go through will give you a bit more information about this really important cognitive function.